Our guest is a fellow named Michael Cumella, who is a DJ. And I mean that in both senses of the word. I mean that he did a real old-fashioned terrestrial radio show for about 25 years on a major station out in New Jersey called WFMU, and we'll talk about that. But and now that he's not doing that show anymore, presumably he's a DJ, but he's doing it in his very own unique way. And it should tell you something that his show was called the Antique Phonograph Music Program. And look who's here, Michael Cumella. Good morning to you, Michael.
Hi, Dave. Good morning. How are you doing today?
I am good. I don't know if you know this, but last week was our 1,000th episode of
Wow,
Dave's.
congratulations.
Thank you much.
Wow,
So
that's a lot.
we've been on for 24 years. How long were you on WFMU?
About 20 years.
20 years doing. Tell us
Yeah.
about. Yeah, sorry.
I started with just when it was terrestrial radio only. So
Right.
in 95, and then with the advent of the internet, it became something that played on the net and was archived, because my show dealt with mostly material that was out of copyright. It was one of the first shows to be actually archived on the web. And and then straightforward to the future. What's new again?
So we'll get to why you stopped doing the show back in 2020. But why did you? I mean, you must have since what? Childhood, teenhood, falling in love with 78s and cylinders, and what did it for you, Michael?
Well, I grew up as the youngest of 4 kids in a family. So I was always surrounded by records. That was the way we listened to music, by having records. And then as I started actually DJing in my teens, and I would always have to have older hits. And as I started doing my research, I realized there was a certain wall you hit with LPs. You could get back with some compilations of maybe hits of the 30s. Definitely there were big band compilations. But if you wanted to hear, I realized there's this whole history of music prior to the 30s that was somewhat inaccessible. And I realized, okay, 78s and cylinders. Now, since there weren't these LP compilations, I thought, okay, yeah, they played on these horned machines. They played on these Victrolas. So I started looking for one of those, found one at a yard sale with a pile of records. And then that sort of started me on that path of looking for popular music of the 20s, the 10s, the aughts, and became a journey.
And a journey that you started in your late teens when you were quote unquote DJing already for parties. I can't imagine even. Let's say, how old are you now, if you don't mind my asking? What are you?
62.
50? 62. You're 1 year older than I am. Were the people that you were DJing for back in the 1970s asking for Billy Murray records?
Oh, no. I wasn't doing anything with DJing at that point with that stuff.
Yeah.
For my own edification. This was just for me to explore pop music, really. I was interested in hearing hits like, You Ought to Be in Pictures, and stuff that was still somewhat in the popular realm of culture, Shine on Harvest Moon, and stuff I'd heard on Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, okay, yes.
They referenced a lot of vaudeville and 20s pop because they were trying to amuse themselves, I believe. So then,
Mel Blanc would have been old enough to, and so Chuck Jones would have been probably old enough to have kind of, or the Parents' Record Collection would have probably had those back in the 30s and 40s when they were making, the Bugs Bunny cartoons. But so let me ask you, one of the honors of this program is twice we had Dr. Demento on. I'm sure you've heard of him.
One of my heroes.
Yes. So one thing, he lives in a house. I mean, he's widowed now, but he's still got, I guess, the house filled with, 20,000, maybe 50,000, could be 100,000. He's got a basement. They actually have the floor cave in from the weight of some of the records.
I've heard of that.
Well, I mean, did you become obsessive and whatever with collecting, and do you have like ba-boom?
I have. I have sort of tamed that. And, if you look at your life and collecting as a bell curve, there was a certain point where I was absolutely just whatever it was, get it, let's play it, let's listen to it. But I feel like I'm on the other side now. I'm de-acquisitioning, I'm getting rid of stuff, I'm distilling it down to what I use and need and like. But the thing is, records chase me. They come after me. I turn a corner and they're there like, take me home, a big box of 78s. And I look at them like, no, no. But then I turn another corner and there they are again. So it's hard. And since I've been doing this for so long, people contact me because,
Mm.
as well as doing the DJing, I also do restorations and repairs of crank up machines. So people will
Oh,
contact me about buying and selling machines or repairing them, or just saying, hey, we're cleaning out my grandmother's basement and there's all these records. Do you want them? There's only 10,000. Come on over and get them. They're yours for free.
well, how do you deacquisition then? In other words, I mean, who wants when you have like doubles or triples or quadruples or something? It's like, you know what? I don't need four of this. So you have three. How do you? I mean, it's not like you can just have a yard sale, perhaps, like these other people, or do you just throw them away? What do you do?
eBay's the best.
Oh, eBay. Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
eBay's the best for selling stuff. Also, when I sell a Victrola to someone, here's a pile of records to go with them. That goes along with it. I try not to throw things away. I At this point, I just say to people, no, I don't want your 40s Bing Crosby and Artie Shaw records. I don't need them. Thank you. Well, what do I do with them? You know what? It's not my problem because I don't know what to do with them. I
Yeah,
don't know who
libraries
really
don't want
wants them.
them. That's the issue. It's sort of like it's not you have them and you figure, oh my God, a real collector would want these, but the real collector already has them. But so let me ask you though, as much as you love the machines, have you fallen into the thing that I fall? I used to collect records. I used to collect CDs, but MP3 is really, really easy. And it's not like you're going to get high quality sound off of Victrola. So how often do you really bother to listen for pleasure to a 78 if you have it on your iTunes or Spotify or your whatever you play stuff on?
I guess it depends on what I'm doing. Certainly, there's still a fair amount of material, believe it or not, that's not available on the internet. So, and that goes for LPs as well. Everything is not out there. So,
So I'll stop you there and ask you, do you feel that that could be or is your responsibility? Like if you have a 78 that nobody else has except the Library of Congress, should you have a site or a thing that puts that 78 on the web and makes it available since there's no copyright on it anymore anyway?
no, I don't feel responsible for that.
Okay.
And actually, a lot of people say, don't ever play your records on Victrolas. It will destroy them. You're destroying history. I'm like, you know what? You do what you want with your records. I'll do what I want with mine. Because what I see is that supply well outstrips demand. So, as I alluded to a few minutes ago, there are lots of people who have collections. They don't know what to do with them. They can't get rid of them. So, and so now I have about 15 years of shows archived on the web from my WFMU days. So I did a lot of it. I actually did do that.
Yeah.
There is stuff out there. And so most of my collection has been digitized there. So when you do a web search for a certain song, sometimes that'll come up as one of my playlists, and you can go to the MP3 and find it and listen to it. So I sort of have inadvertently done that. And that was always the idea of my show, not to be too scholarly about it, to really just play pop music of another time and let people hear what it sounded like. And that's why I used Victrolas and Edison cylinder machines in the studio to let people actually hear what the experience was like. So I think I've done a fair amount of uh, preservation. But on the other hand, I don't feel like I'm a dedicated preservationist. I play records, I listen to them. I've worked with libraries.
Mm.
For example, the New York Library, they're like, okay, we're going to let you play this record. Be very careful. I'm like, I got 2 copies of that. Why don't you have to be too careful with it? You can find another way to break it. I'm not going to break it, but so it's sort of a balance once you get into it because people will even see my machines when I go out and I'm doing my DJing. Oh my God, these must be so rare. No, they're not rare. There's plenty of machines out there. You can find one if you want at any time.
Well, yeah. I mean, in 150 years, who knows? But at least for now, there's still, which is I guess a good thing, which I guess is an important thing.
Well,
But
when you say that, my theory is that these machines are so well made
mm,
and that they will easily last another 150 years. I think they'll last 300 years in the right conditions, as long as someone keeps them in their home in good temperatures and not leaving them outside in the barn. Even if they do, they're easy to bring back. They're just so well made
really,
that they're apocalypse proof.
can you do that with 78s? Because I know, not that I have anything valuable, but back at my old house, 78s are in the basement with where we've had an oil burner and just weather condition meh, and it gets mold on the. Can you save 78s?
Sometimes, if they're
Hmm.
not completely hydrated, if they're not completely saturated from the humidity
Hmm.
and those conditions, because some have even a cardboard core, which will start to expand and crack the outer shellac. But if they have some mold on them, they clean up nice. Stick them
Huh.
into your sink, wash them like a dish, let them dry, and you'd be surprised how well they can clean up.
Now, do you, when you started collecting, it was all about the music and just amassing. As you said, the collector has that peak time. Did you bother with value in terms of, if I buy this one for 80 cents at a garage sale, they don't know this is worth $100. I mean, did you care about that stuff, or do you
No,
care about it
there was
now?
no sense of that at that point. I wasn't. I think there was again printed buyer guides. We're talking
Yeah.
pre-internet. There were buyer guides that would say what a value was, but I was actually looking at more books that would give me the history of the records, not the value. So I would find things and so on and so forth. It's only now that I'll put a record on eBay. I'm like, and I just put them all out there. I usually start them at $3 or $5, whatever. And then it's like, wow, this one went for $300, and I don't even understand it sometimes. Like, wow, this is. I didn't know this was valuable. Sometimes I know they're valuable. Sometimes someone's like, no, I'm looking to be a completist of that artist, and you found this record, and it's in minty condition, so that's why. Okay, great,
It's
great.
worth it to him or her.
So
Yeah. I mean, and by the way, the mailing is probably more than anything else on some of your records. It's like, yeah, $3 plus $15 postage because to get it safely to you costs, whatever it costs. What
yeah.
though, either, if not financially, then emotionally, might be your most prized possessions in terms of either equipment or actual records?
As far as records go, I feel a little soft spot for Nora Bayes records
Hmm.
because in 2018, well, prior to 2018, she had an unmarked grave at Woodlawn Cemetery, and I do actually tours of Woodlawn Cemetery where I visit the graves of George M. Cohan, Irving Berlin, Duke Ellington, Burt Williams, and I wanted to do Nora Bayes, but her grave was unmarked. And that's a whole other story if you want to get into it or not. But anyway,
It's a good story. I'll hear it, but
I
yeah.
led the charge to get her a grave marker, which we did because she was as big as Madonna, Barbara Streisand, Beyonce in her day. She was the top lady of New York and vaudeville, but because of a weird, her
She
fifth
was the
marriage.
first Bay. If you more Beyonce, she was Bay. I don't even
Yeah,
know.
right. She was Bay before Bay.
So you helped get her at least a place. Like if you want to visit Nora Bayes, here she is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I call her my ghost wife, really.
Hmm.
So
Do you have a real one? Michael, and how does she feel about
I
that?
did, but now I
Oh,
have a girlfriend. So
oh, Muslim. So how does she feel? Did the women in your life, do they care about your music at all, or is that your hobby and they have theirs?
it's mostly my hobby.
Hmm.
It's really, again, pre-internet days, you had to find people who were interested in it. And I was lucky there were shows going on where you'd go and visit someone and uh, get together with them and trade records and so on. With the advent of the internet, it's easy to find camaraderie in this
Yeah.
hobby. Actually, I started a Facebook page in about 2011, I think it was, called Antique Phonograph Enthusiasts, not collectors, not newbie. It's for
Right.
everyone who has an interest in this. And now it has over 10,000 members worldwide. So lots of
Wow.
discussions from advanced subjects about the gear ratio of a Victor 2 to someone who just said, "Hey, I got this Victrola in a family basement, and how does it work? What do I do?" So, and then we have real life get-togethers sometimes. So, yeah, it's sort of my thing at home, but it's easy to find camaraderie now in this hobby.
And also, I'm sure you found lots of, if not close friends, certainly tons and tons of acquaintances doing your show, Antique Phonograph program on,
Yeah,
well, Antique Phonograph music program or show program, music program on WFMU, which is an independent station out in New Jersey. If people don't know, there's actually still some radio stations that really are out there and play lots of kinds of things. They're not programmed by one computer out in Texas. It's actually real people, and they're not even bothered in the way public radio is now because their funding is, from the people who listen. So why did you stop doing antique radio? I guess it was in 2020 or when? Why did you
yeah.
tell it? Yeah,
It's an unpaid situation.
yeah,
After a
right.
while, I feel like I did it. Yeah, I did it. I played so many records and so on and so forth. A 1 hour weekly show is a lot of time. It's a big commitment,
Yeah, yeah,
and I feel like I did it long enough. Basically, in reference to what you just alluded to about getting to know people, I always had an open policy of, if you're a newbie or if you're an advanced collector, come on my show and share some of your favorite records. Let's just play and listen. So I always did that. Yeah, I just did it long enough. That was plenty.
yeah.
20 years isn't enough.
But now, apart from, as you say, you're a fixer. You help people not just acquire things, but you fix their Victrolas. You actually fix their machines. But you also DJ. I mean, people call you to come and play your parts of your collection on the machines themselves. You're not there with a computer and MP3. Just here's Nora Bayes followed by. I mean, what kind of places have you do this?
Oh, specialty events. I'm big with the 100-year business anniversary. Uh,
Oh,
it's like, oh, our business, is having a 100-year anniversary in 2023. Well, I'm gonna come to the party. I'm gonna play all the hits of 1923.
brilliant!
That kind of stuff.
Yes.
Lots of what we'll call Gadsby or speakeasy or prohibition parties I go
Yeah,
to, and wedding cocktail hours for people who are vintage enthusiasts for weddings. Um, so it's kind of like that. I also will do libraries and do presentations of machines and music.
mm,
So yeah, there's a place for it. I mean, I have people contact me sometimes, and I'll vet them while they're vetting me, because I want to make sure that I am the right thing for their situation. Oh, we're having a party. It's a big band party, and you'd be the perfect DJ. No, I'm not. I'm not that
no, you need
perfect DJ
some
for them.
right. Yeah,
I'm more of early stuff, and it's very visual too. I have the two horned machines, and I'm dressed up in a period suit and the clothes. So people hear it with their eyes as well. it's part of the visual appeal of what I do. And then they're hearing it too, and they are like, "Oh, this is cool. Like, where's the computer that's playing this stuff?" Where no,
Actually, wait a minute. This occurs to me. Let's say you have a corporate party for a company that's 100 years old and they want a 1923, 1924 DJ, and you set yourself up and you've got, you know, two Victrolas and a microphone and maybe one, I don't know if you bring a cylinder along. How does that play in a crowd to the back of the hall if you don't have amps, if you can't mic the sound from the horn? What do you do?
I do mic the sound. I put a little lavalier microphone inside the horn and run it through a sound system. I bring a small one if I need be, or it goes through the house sound system. But it's not something that's going to fill a hall. It's not like a boom, boom, boom,
No.
where it fills the whole place. It's more of an experiential thing. People will sort of see it from across the room and they'll hear it. And I say it's sort of like a whisper calling to them. I make it so that I want you to come and see the machines, and then you're hearing them as you're seeing them. And then there's always a bit of dialogue. Are these real? What year are they from? Are those real records? Are they new records? And so it's very much an experience thing that they come to, and they'll get behind the machines and take pictures and so on. And then they'll go off to the rest of the party. So it's different in that way, that it's not.
They're not dancing. Yeah, have you ever done a bar mitzvah with one of these, or no?
I've not done any bar mitzvahs. I don't know any 13-year-olds that really, really want me.
Well, for grandpa, you know, or circumcisions, perhaps. A good circumcision party is like, this record was cut just like you. No, but don't know where I'm going with that. Can I ask one reason that we're having you on the show today, Saturday, September 27th, 2025, is that one of your other activities is musical, but in a very different way. So what are you up to, Michael Cumella? What are you doing tonight?
Well, doing this event called Porch Fest in Asbury Park, New Jersey, where all different bands are playing on porches. And I've been a musician my whole life as well. And I always wanted to have a group where we play early blues and jazz from the dawn of the recorded music era, from the 20s, a little bit from the teens into the 30s and 40s a bit. But so I'm playing upright bass, and we have a group called the Blues Collective where we're playing Bessie Smith, Mamie Smith, Trixie Smith, lots of Smiths. We do some Louis Jordan, some Cab Calloway, and it's really a lot of fun to play this stuff. Sure. I've always wanted to do it, and it's been a long time coming because it's been hard to find the musicians to actually do this with me. So we're doing it today. It's actually a daytime thing in Asbury Park. You go, you walk around the town, and there's music and bands on all different porches.
Well, do you know your address so people can see Blues Collective? Do you know if you're
check it here.
Somebody's house?
We're playing at 1 o'clock. At it's 8:08. Let me put my glasses on.
Sure.
It's too small. Sorry.
No.
It's 808 6th Avenue in Asbury Park. 808 6th Avenue at 1 p.m. If you're in the area, come on down because you'll enjoy the day. It's free for people to wander around and just listen to music all day.
And you'll be there for at least an hour, or you'll be there the whole
an hour playing.
An hour playing on that particular porch at 808 6th Avenue in Asbury Park. Greetings from there, from Michael Cumella. Got a couple more quick questions for you because I know you have to go and get the band ready and go do your thing. But one of the other things, if I look at your Facebook page, and it's Cumella, Cumella, by the way,
and
folks.
And also my DJ name is Phonograph DJ Mac, MAC.
Phonograph DJ Mac. If you're looking to hire him for Phonograph, is that
find my Instagram also? You'll see lots of pictures of me out there doing my thing, so on.
I should have written this down. Oh, your official website though is michaelcumella.com.
Yeah.
Michael Cumella.com.
That's the portal to me. That'll take you to all things me.
All things you, including the FMU show, if you want the links to there to go listen to some old shows that he did, including to the band, including to your, selling and buying, not so much buying now, but selling and working on equipment and things. But I've noticed on your Facebook page one recent kind of not obsession, but recent kind of thing involves records, and I remember these too. Where you would get a magazine when you were a kid, and you open the magazine, and the best thing about it was it'd be like this floppy vinyl or even cardboard record on a cereal box. Tell us, I mean, what got you into this and remembering these things?
Well, again, I grew up at the period where I remember getting the Super Sugar Crisp and cutting the cereal box record off of it and putting it on my turntable. I'm thinking, oh, that's weird. And through the years collecting records, you also always I would come across these flexi discs, they're called, advertising aluminum or pantyhose or a record talking about how great Richard Nixon is and vote for him for president. And I would pick these up because they'd be practically free or nothing. So I've come to describe this area of what I call ephemeral records, records that are made for a very specific purpose. And we often think of records as something we have to cherish and care for and preserve. But these were not that. These were meant to be played and used for a specific purpose and then literally thrown away. So it's this area that's really kind of undocumented area of our recorded history because they were so fleeting. So,
But you're kind of recording and document. I mean, I had this. This just made my jaw drop. I had the Tuppy the Tooth.
yes,
Yes, I had that. I had the Tuppy the
only,
Tooth one. And if you go to michaelcumella.com, you can actually click and you recorded them. You put, so people can click and hear the MP3, the audio sound
yeah,
of that, and all these other cereal box things. And I think I mentioned Mad Magazine used to do more vinyl things and things like It's a Gas, We're On,
yeah.
those kinds of discs. So let me ask you one more question because I know you do have to go, but I'm curious about this. As someone who's collected records from the 80s, 90s, what are some of the most shocking things? I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of Jew face records, coon records, things like. Are there things that were recorded and released by Columbia or whoever or Brunswick that you listen to now? Is like, your jaw just whether it's racial or whether it's language or whether it's sexism or like what?
Oh, yeah, there's lots of that stuff that we would consider absolutely politically incorrect today and seriously offensive. Um,
Like, what's the most offensive record you own? Now I'm really
I don't want
curious.
to say, you don't want me to say it.
Well, you can describe it without necessarily.
Well, N loves his possum.
No, you don't have to say that. Wow, I didn't think they used the word.
Oh, yes, they would use that a lot in songs. And remember, and so, you know,
And actually, Michael, was that a white artist playing, or was it a black artist who was doing?
they were usually white artists doing
Yeah,
minstrelry.
yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. Wow, wow.
So, um, and, you know, absolutely offensive, disrespectful material. But that being said, I did play these things on my radio show with the disclaimer, hey, look, I'm not advocating for any of this stuff. My show is about playing music of the period, which is a reflection of culture of the period.
And by the way,
Um,
Snoop Dogg covered "And Loves a Possum,"
I don't
and
know.
he threw an extra. No, he did. No, he
I
did
never
not.
heard his version. And you hear that word all the time in current music,
Right,
right? From
exactly.
black
Yeah.
artists. It's still out there. But so there was lots of that stuff. Yeah. Jewish, hey wop,
Oh, wow.
bashing Italians. So every ethnic group was getting made fun of.
Yeah.
So I'm not, again, I never advocated for it, but I would say, hey, this was what was going on during that period. Judge history all you want by the material and open up a discussion about it. So,
And actually,
yeah.
last question for you, Michael, also is like, what is an example of one or two of the funniest records that still hold up that make you laugh from 1902? Like, you'd be surprised that, oh no, this is really still, it's not funny for the time. It's still funny, funny.
I have about 30 laughing records,
Oh,
including the OK Laughing record, which you may
yes.
know from Dr. Demento. Uh, there was a whole spate of these records where sometimes it was just someone laughing. Sometimes it'd be wrapped around an inept musical performance. Sometimes someone would start to just try to recite something and they just break into laughter. And laughter is infectious. It was a novelty back then. And, when they started to add laugh tracks to 70s TV shows, they realized, oh, this really made them a little more funny by doing that kind of stuff. So these laughing records, people are still really amused by. And again, I always pick them up whenever I find them.
Well, we are not laughing at Michael Cumella. We are laughing with him. He is Phonograph DJ. What is it? Something Mac? What's your
Phonograph DJ Mac, MAC.
Phonograph DJ Mac. His website is michaelcumella.com. But most urgently, get yourself to New Jersey. There's usually no excuse to go to New Jersey, but you have one. 1 o'clock Eastern time today. He and his band Blues Collective will be part of the Porch Fest in Asbury Park. They'll be at 808 6th Avenue in Asbury Park. You can walk around and go to other porches, but here he's playing, what would you say, all the Smiths, Bessie Smith, music of that.
We really mostly focus on songs of heartbreak, vice, and bad habits.
Well, isn't that the best way to spend a Saturday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen? I wish you great music. I wish you good weather. Great, is there one shining 78 on the hill that you've always wanted that maybe you'll get someday if it exists?
Yes. Irving Berlin's singing records are hard to find. So I'm forgetting the title of it. I have one. There's a certain other one I've been looking for. And sometimes I've had searches for 20 years where things have finally turned up. But Irving Berlin's singing. Yes, I'm looking for his records. And also original Burt Williams records from the turn of the century when him and George Walker made a very short run of a few hundred 78s. Very hard to find. Very few exist even.
Well, may blue skies shine upon you, Michael Cumella, and may you find that and find much, much more great music.
Thank you, Dave, for having me on. Congratulations on your 1,000th show. Wishing you another 1,000. I'll come on your 2001 show.
Deal. That's a deal, Michael. Or maybe you'll play on my porch someday. I'll be old enough.
I'd love to. Love to.
Thanks, man. Have a great gig.
Cheers, everybody.
Bye-bye now.